He was kicked out of his home with his daughter, but a millionaire saw and changed everything. Nathan Collins held his daughter Emma as tightly as he could while the pouring rain battered their already soaked bodies. The tears of the 6-year-old girl mixed with the raindrops streaming down her delicate face, and he felt each of her sobs like a stab to his chest. "Daddy, why did Grandma make us leave?" Emma asked, shivering from the cold. Nathan couldn't answer. How could he explain to a child that her own grandmother, Mrs. Barbara, had chosen her new boyfriend over her son and granddaughter? That after 3 years living there, ever since Jessica, his wife, had left with only a goodbye letter, they were now on the street because Raymond, his mother's new partner, didn't want freeloaders in the house. The backpack on Nathan's shoulders held everything he'd managed to grab in a hurry. Some of Emma's clothes, important papers, and the few dollars he had saved. His bare feet splashed through puddles on Magnolia Street in the Hope Gardens neighborhood of New York City. The scene was heartbreaking. Father and daughter clinging to each other in the middle of the storm, with nowhere to go. Across the street, shielded by a red umbrella, Catherine Bennett watched with a heavy heart. The 45-year-old businesswoman had stopped her imported car when she saw the dramatic scene unfold. She had just left a meeting at a nearby office and was heading back to her mansion when she witnessed Mrs. Barbara shoving her own son out of the house, throwing his belongings out the window while a heavy-set, scowling man shouted insults from the gate. Catherine couldn't tear her eyes away from that father, trying to shield his daughter from the rain with his own body. The little girl looked so small, so fragile. Something stirred inside her, an old pain she thought she'd moved past. She took a deep breath and made a decision. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, let's continue. Nathan tried to think of somewhere to go. He had no other family in the city besides the mother who had just thrown him out. The few friends he still kept in touch with lived far away, and he didn't even have money for the bus. Working as a kitchen assistant at the local diner, barely covered the bills, and now soaked and holding a child in his arms, who would take them in? "Excuse me," a soft feminine voice cut through his thoughts. Nathan looked up and saw an elegant woman approaching. Even in the rain, he could tell. Her clothes were expensive, her auburn hair perfectly styled, her posture confident. She held out the umbrella, trying to cover all three of them. "I saw what happened," Catherine said, her voice full of compassion. "You need help." Nathan's pride flared. He held Emma tighter and took a step back. "Thank you, ma'am. But we're fine, we don't need charity." Catherine recognized the resistance in his eyes, the look of someone who'd been hurt too much to trust easily. "It's not charity," she insisted, glancing at Emma, trembling in her father's arms. "There's just one person wanting to help another. At least let me take you somewhere dry. Your daughter is freezing." Emma coughed just then, a harsh sound that made Nathan's heart clench. He looked at his daughter's pale face, her lips turning blue, and his pride gave way to fatherly instinct. "Just until the rain stops," he murmured. Catherine smiled faintly and gestured to the black car parked across the street. As they walked, she discreetly studied the man beside him. He must have been around 35, handsome despite the exhaustion etched on his face, his hands rough from hard work. But what stood out the most was the way he protected his daughter, as if she were the most precious thing in the world. Inside the car, the warm air conditioning wrapped around father and daughter like a comforting hug. Catherine grabbed a blanket. She always kept in the back seat and wrapped it around Emma, who finally stopped trembling. "What are your names?" Catherine asked, adjusting the rearview mirror to see the girl better. "Emma," the little one replied in a weak voice. "And this is my dad, Nathan. Nice to meet you, Emma. I'm Catherine. What a beautiful name you have." Nathan remained tense, his hands gripping the wet backpack. He wasn't used to receiving help, especially from people who clearly belonged to another world. The luxurious car, the understated but expensive jewelry, everything screamed that this woman had money. And he had learned the hard way that wealthy people usually wanted something in return. "I'll take you to my house," Catherine announced, starting the car. "You can take a hot shower, change out of those wet clothes." "No," Nathan reacted immediately. "I appreciate it, but we can't impose. If you could just drop us off at the bus station. What are you going to do at the bus station? Catherine stared at him through the rearview mirror. Forgive my bluntness, but do you have money for tickets? Do you have somewhere to go? Nathan's silence was answer enough. Catherine sighed, and her voice softened. Look, I know. It's hard to accept help, but your daughter needs a warm, dry place. I'm not asking for anything in return, I just want to help. Tomorrow, when things have settled, you can decide what to do. Emma started coughing again, this time more violently. Nathan felt her little body burning with fever, and desperation took over. He had no choice. All right, he agreed, his voice barely a whisper. But just for tonight. The drive to Catherine's house took 40 minutes. They left Hope Gardens and headed to the Upper East Side, one of New York City's most affluent neighborhoods. The contrast was stark, from potholed streets and modest homes to tree-lined avenues and imposing mansions. When they passed through the automatic gate of Catherine's property, Nathan's stomach churned. The estate was enormous, with perfectly manicured gardens and a house that looked like it belonged in a decor magazine. What was he doing here? Come on, Catherine said, parking in the covered garage where 3 other cars sat. I'll ask Mrs. Martha to prepare rooms for you. Nathan carried Emma in his arms, following Catherine through the mansion's interior. With every step, his sense of inadequacy grew. The marble floors, the paintings on the walls, the furniture that surely cost more than he made in years. Emma, even feverish, widened her eyes in awe. Martha, Catherine called, and a woman in her 60s appeared wearing a spotless apron. Please prepare the guest room on the 2nd floor, and bring dry clothes. There are some from when my nephew lived here that should fit the gentleman. For the girl, she hesitated. I can get some of Lily Grace's clothes, Mrs. Martha suggested with an understanding smile. She left plenty behind when she went on vacation to Europe. Catherine agreed, but Nathan noticed a shadow cross her face when Mrs. Martha mentioned Lily Grace's name. Who was she? A daughter, perhaps? In the guest room, Nathan felt even more out of place. It was bigger than the entire house he'd shared with his mother. Emma immediately crawled into the king-sized bed, still shivering under the covers. I'll call my doctor, Catherine said from the doorway. That's not necessary, Nathan protested. It's just a cold. Nathan, Catherine said firmly, your daughter has a high fever. Dr. Richards lives nearby. It's no trouble at all. Before he could protest further, she was already gone. Nathan sat on the edge of the bed, stroking Emma's damp hair. How had it come to this? 3 years ago, he'd had a modest but stable life. A wife, a rented home, a job. Then Jessica decided she wasn't happy, that she felt suffocated by domestic life. She left just a note saying she needed to find herself and never got in touch again. He had to leave the house they were renting because he couldn't afford it alone. His mother, a widow for 10 years, took them in. At first it was hard, but they were managing to adjust. Until Raymond showed up 6 months ago. The man won over Mrs. Barbara with gifts and promises, and soon he was living with them. Since then, life had become hell. Raymond drank, made cruel remarks, and treated Emma with impatience. Nathan endured it all because he had nowhere else to go. He saved every penny trying to scrape together enough to rent something, but his salary barely covered the basics. Today, the situation exploded. Raymond had been drunk since morning, complaining that Emma was too noisy. When Nathan defended her, the man lunged at him. Mrs. Barbara, blinded by her new relationship, took her boyfriend's side. Choose, Mom, Nathan had said, him or your family. The answer came in the form of their belongings being thrown out the window. A knock at the door brought him back to the present. Catherine entered, accompanied by a middle-aged man carrying a medical bag. This is Dr. Richards, she introduced. Ricardo, this is Nathan and little Emma. The doctor got straight to the point, examining Emma with professional efficiency. He checked her temperature, throat, and lungs. His face showed concern. It's a bad flu worsened by exposure to cold and rain, he diagnosed. I'll prescribe antibiotics and fever reducers. With rest and proper medication, she should improve in a few days. Doctor, I can't pay right now, Nathan began, ashamed. It's already taken care of, Catherine cut in. Ricardo, please have the medications delivered here. The doctor said his goodbyes and Catherine approached the bed, watching Emma, who had fallen asleep. She's beautiful, she remarked softly. How old is she? 6, Nathan replied. Her birthday is next month. A special age, Catherine smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. Well, I'll let you rest. The bathroom is there and there are clean clothes in the closet. When you're ready for dinner, just come downstairs. Catherine, Nathan called as she was leaving. Why are you doing this? She paused at the door, silent for a few seconds, before answering. Because I know what it's like to need help and have no one, she said simply, then left. Nathan gave Emma a bath, who barely woke during it. Her fever had gone down slightly with the medicine the doctor gave. He dressed her in a pink pajama set he found in the closet, clearly expensive and barely worn. Then he took his own shower, the hot water easing the tension in his muscles. The clothes Mrs. Martha had set aside fit perfectly, jeans, a t-shirt and a hoodie, all name brand but understated. Nathan looked at himself in the mirror and barely recognized himself. He looked normal, not the desperate man who had been out in the rain just hours before. Emma was sound asleep when he went down for dinner. The house seemed even bigger from other angles. He followed the smell of food to the dining room, where Catherine sat alone at a table that could seat 12. Sit, she gestured to the chair beside her. Is Emma okay? Asleep, her fever's down, Nathan said, shifting uncomfortably. Catherine, I really appreciate everything, but no buts, she interrupted. Let's just have dinner and talk like two normal people, okay? Martha made beef stroganoff. I hope you like it. The food was delicious, but Nathan could barely swallow. Everything was too surreal. Catherine, however, seemed determined to put him at ease, making small talk about everyday things. What do you do for work? She asked. I'm a kitchen assistant at Mike's Diner over in Hope Gardens. It's not much, but work is work, Catherine finished. And it seems you like to cook. It's what I know how to do, Nathan shrugged. I learned from my grandmother. I always dreamed of having my own diner, but he let the sentence fade. But life happened, Catherine finished for him, genuine understanding in her voice. They ate in silence for a few minutes. Nathan watched Catherine discreetly. There was something about her, a sadness behind the impeccable appearance, that intrigued him. What was a woman who had everything doing dining alone at a huge table? Do you live alone here? The question slipped out before he could stop himself. Catherine paused with her fork halfway to her mouth. Yes, she answered after a moment. Well, there's Mrs. Martha and George the gardener, but they have their own place in the back. I've lived alone for quite some time. Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. You didn't, she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. It's just that people usually don't ask. They assume things, you know? They see the big house, the money, and think I must know everything about happiness. Nathan understood what she meant. People assumed things about him too. A single man with a child must have done something wrong, must be a failure, must be to blame for his wife leaving. People judge too quickly, he agreed. Exactly, Catherine met his gaze, and for a moment there was a connection between them. Two strangers who might not be so different after all. The moment was broken by the sound of Catherine's phone. She glanced at the screen and her expression closed off. Excuse me, she stood abruptly. I need to take this. Nathan heard her speaking in the hallway, her voice tense. I already said no, Michael. I don't care what the lawyer thinks. It's my money. I'll do what I want with it. No, you're not coming here. When she returned, Catherine seemed unsettled. She forced a smile that didn't convince Nathan. Sorry, family matters, she explained vaguely. Everything all right? Yes, just my brother. He thinks he should have a say in everything I do. She took a sip of wine. But let's not ruin dinner with that. Tell me more about Emma. She seems like a special girl. Nathan relaxed a little as he talked about his daughter. He told her how smart and curious she was, full of life despite everything they'd been through. How she loved to draw and make up stories. How she asked questions about everything and wasn't satisfied with simple answers. She gets that from her mother, he said without thinking, immediately regretting it. Her mother, Catherine began carefully, left when Emma was 3. Nathan looked down at his plate. Said she wasn't meant to be a mother, that she needed to live her own life. I'm sorry. Don't be. In the end, it was for the best. Emma deserves someone who loves her unconditionally, and she has me. That's what matters. Catherine stayed silent, swirling her wine, glass in her hands. When she spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. You're a good father, Nathan. Emma is lucky to have you. I didn't seem like it today, he laughed bitterly. What kind of father lets his daughter get thrown out in the rain? The kind who shields her with his own body, Catherine countered firmly. The kind who swallows his pride to accept help when she needs it. Don't sell yourself short. Nathan looked at her in surprise. There was something fierce in how she defended him, as if it were personal for her too. Do you have children? He asked softly. Catherine's face shut like a slamming door. For long seconds she didn't answer. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. I did. A daughter, Lily Grace. The past tense didn't escape Nathan. I did. Gone. He waited, not pressing. Catherine took a deep breath. She passed 3 years ago. Leukemia. She was only 7. Nathan's blood ran cold. 7. Just a year older than Emma. Now he understood. The empty mansion, the lonely dinner, the urgency to help them. Catherine, No, she raised her hand. You don't have to say anything. Just understand that what I'm offering isn't charity. She searched for the words. It's a chance to do something good, to help someone. It's been a long time since I've felt useful like this. They sat in silence, 2 wounded hearts recognizing each other's pain. Mrs. Martha appeared to clear, the dishes breaking the moment. I'll check on Emma, Nathan said, standing up. Nathan, Catherine called to him, stay as long as you need. No rush, no pressure, just stay. He nodded and went upstairs. Emma was still asleep, her breathing calmer now. Nathan lay down beside her, his body sinking into the soft mattress. How long had it been since he'd slept in a decent bed? But sleep didn't come easily. His mind raced in circles. What was he doing? He couldn't take advantage of a woman, clearly grieving the loss of her daughter. But he also couldn't deny that Emma needed stability, medical care, a chance. And Catherine, there was something about her that drew him in beyond her obvious beauty. The strength beneath the fragility, the genuine kindness, the way she looked at Emma with such tenderness. But no, he couldn't think like that. She was wealthy, cultured, from another world. He was just a broken man trying to survive. From downstairs he heard the sound of a piano, a sad, melancholic melody that seemed to carry all the pain in the world. Catherine played from the heart, each note an unshed tear. Nathan closed his eyes, holding Emma tighter. Tomorrow he'd figure out what to do. Tomorrow he'd face reality. Today, just for today, he'd pretend they were safe. He didn't know that the next day, all their lives would change drastically. That Michael Bennett, Catherine's brother, was already plotting his next move. That secrets from the past would come to light. That love, unlikely and stubborn, would begin to bloom amidst the wreckage of broken hearts. For now, there was only the sound of the fading rain outside, the soft piano playing, and 2 lost souls who had found each other in the storm. The next morning, Nathan woke to the sound of laughter. For a moment, he was disoriented. The luxurious room, the soft bed. None of it felt real. Then he saw Emma sitting up in bed, looking much brighter, chatting animatedly with Catherine, who held a breakfast tray. "Daddy!" Emma exclaimed when she saw him awake. "Aunt Catherine brought pancakes." "Shaped like bunnies." Catherine smiled awkwardly. "I hope you don't mind. Mrs. Martha said she woke up asking for you, but you were sleeping so soundly, I thought it best not to wake you. I brought breakfast so you could eat together." Nathan sat up, running a hand through his messy hair. The scene was so domestic, so normal. Catherine wore a simple dress, her hair in a ponytail, looking years younger. Nothing like the elegant woman from the night before. You didn't have to go to the trouble, he murmured. It was no trouble, Catherine said, setting the tray on the bedside table. It's been a long time since I made breakfast for anyone. It was nice. Emma was already attacking the pancakes with enthusiasm, clearly in better spirits. Aunt Catherine said she has a huge garden, she said between bites. With flowers and even a pond with fish. Can I see, Dad? Emma, don't be rude, Nathan gently scolded. Of course you can see it, Catherine interjected. Once you're completely better. The doctor said you need at least one more day of rest. But I'm fine already, Emma protested, and as if to prove her wrong, she started coughing. See? Catherine touched her forehead. You still have a fever. How about we watch some movies today? I have a home theater here. Emma's eyes widened. A movie theater? For real? For real? Catherine laughed, with popcorn and everything. Nathan watched their interaction with mixed feelings. Emma needed a mother figure. That much was obvious. But he couldn't let her get too attached to Catherine. They would have to leave soon, and he didn't want his daughter to suffer another loss. Catherine, we need to talk, he said. About how long? Later, she gently cut him off, glancing meaningfully at Emma. Let's enjoy breakfast now. Mrs. Martha also made cheese bread. I know it's typical, but I couldn't resist. Breakfast passed in a light mood, with Emma dominating the conversation, telling her favorite stories to Catherine, who listened with genuine interest. Nathan ate quietly, observing. When Emma finally finished, Catherine stood up. I'll let you both get ready. Nathan, when you can, meet me in the office. It's the second door on the left down the hallway on the ground floor. After she left, Emma turned to her father with that look he knew well. Dad, Aunt Catherine is nice. She is, sweetheart. She seems sad, Emma observed with that perceptiveness that sometimes surprised him. I think she needs friends. Everyone needs friends, Nathan agreed, helping her up. Come on, let's change these clothes and brush those teeth. Half an hour later, with Emma comfortably settled in bed with books Catherine had sent for, Nathan went downstairs to the office. He knocked and heard a muffled, "Come in." Catherine was behind an antique desk, reading glasses on, reviewing some papers. The office was impressive. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, an unlit fireplace, large windows overlooking the garden. Sit. She gestured to the chair across from her, removing her glasses. How's Emma? Better, her fever has gone down more, Nathan said, shifting uneasily. Catherine, about yesterday. You want to know my intentions, she said directly. I understand completely. A stranger offering help always seems suspicious. It's not that. It is, and you're right to question it. Catherine leaned back in her chair. I'll be frank with you, Nathan. Since Lily Grace died, this house has been a mausoleum. I work, come home, eat alone, sleep. Repeat the cycle. Yesterday, when I saw you two in the rain, she paused, searching for words. It felt like the universe was giving me a chance to do something different, to help someone, to have life in this house again. We're not a charity project, Nathan said, sharper than he intended. I know, Catherine wasn't offended. That's why I want to propose something. A business agreement, if you prefer. Nathan raised an eyebrow, curious. You said you're a cook. It happens I'm in need of a private chef, someone trustworthy, who can live here with their family. The job would include preparing meals, helping with events when needed. In return, I'd offer a competitive salary, housing in this home, private school for Emma, health insurance. All official with proper paperwork. Nathan was speechless. It was too generous an offer, too good to be true. Why me? He managed to ask. You don't even know me. Haven't even tasted my food. Catherine smiled. Intuition. And I may be wrong, but I think you're one of those rare people who, when they say they'll do something, they do it. Emma is proof of that. She tilted her head. Besides, what kind of person would I be if I put you back on the street? I need to think. Of course. No rush. Catherine stood up. In the meantime, treat this house as your own. Oh, and Nathan, the offer has no deadline. When you're ready to decide, let me know. Nathan left the office with his head spinning. Private chef, housing, school for Emma. It was everything he'd ever wanted and couldn't provide. But there was something else, something he couldn't name. A feeling, perhaps. He went upstairs to check on Emma and found her asleep again. He sat in the armchair by her bed, watching her breathe. All he ever wanted was to give her a decent life. Was his pride worth more than his daughter's future? His phone vibrated. Message from Mike, your boss at the diner. Nathan, I heard about what happened to your mother. How awful. Look, I hate to do this, but Raymond came by saying you don't live in the neighborhood anymore. The rules are clear. Employees must live locally. I'm going to have to let you go. I'm sorry, buddy. Nathan let his phone drop into his lap. Now, on top of being homeless, he was jobless. The universe seemed to be conspiring to make him accept Catherine's offer. He spent the rest of the day between the bedroom and the library, which Catherine had made available for his use. Emma was visibly improving, and by evening she was well enough for the promised movie night. The screening room left father and daughter wide-eyed. Reclining seats, a giant screen, surround sound. Catherine had prepared sweet and salty popcorn, fresh juices, and picked out a selection of children's movies. Which one do you want to watch, Emma? Catherine asked. Moana, the girl answered without hesitation. She's my favorite princess. During the movie, Nathan found himself watching the two of them more than the screen. Emma had settled between them, her head shifting between her father's lap and Catherine's as she grew sleepier. Catherine watched with full attention, laughing at the funny parts, her eyes welling up during the emotional ones. When Emma inevitably dozed off halfway through the second film, Nathan moved to pick her up, but Catherine stopped him with a gesture. Let her rest a little longer, she whispered. She's so peaceful. They stayed there in the dark, with Emma sleeping between them, watching the credits roll. It was strangely intimate and comforting at the same time. She reminds me of Lily Grace, Catherine said suddenly, her voice barely audible. The way she sleeps, all sprawled out, her love for Disney princesses. It must be hard, Nathan ventured, having Emma here. It is, Catherine admitted, but it's a different kind of pain. I can't explain it. It's like seeing her reminds me that life goes on, that there's still beauty and innocence in the world. Nathan understood. It was how he felt when he looked at Emma during the toughest times. She was his reminder that it was worth keeping on. Catherine, he began, about your proposal. You don't have to answer now. I accept. The words came out before he could second-guess himself. But with conditions. Catherine turned to face him, hopeful. What are they? First, I want a 3-month trial period, to see if it works, if you're happy with my work. Second, I need it to be clear this is a professional relationship. I'm your employee, not... He hesitated. Not a replacement, Catherine finished. I understand completely. Anything else? Emma needs to understand the situation. I don't want her getting unrealistic expectations. Agreed. Anything more? Nathan thought for a moment. If at any point you feel it's not working, be honest. Don't keep us here out of pity. I promise. Catherine extended her hand. Do we have a deal? Nathan shook her hand, noticing how soft yet firm it was. We have a deal. At that moment, neither of them could imagine how that handshake would change their lives. They didn't know that Michael Bennett was already working with lawyers to question his sister's mental state, that Raymond and Mrs. Barbara would find out about the new arrangement and try to take advantage. That love, stubborn and unlikely, was already taking root. For now, they were just 3 people watching a movie in a dark room, finding comfort in each other's presence. The next day, Monday, Catherine woke up with an energy she hadn't felt in years. She had purpose again. She went down to the kitchen earlier than usual and found Nathan already at work, preparing breakfast. Good morning, she greeted, surprised. You didn't have to start so soon. Good morning, he replied without turning from the stove. If I'm going to work here, I might as well start right. Besides, Mrs. Martha told me you usually just have black coffee in the morning. That's not breakfast. Catherine sat at the kitchen counter watching him work. Nathan moved with efficiency, clearly in his element. The smell of eggs, bacon, and fresh bread filled the air. Where did you learn to cook like this? She asked. My grandmother. Nathan smiled at the memory. Grandma Connie, she had a small diner in Pennsylvania. I spent most of my childhood in the kitchen with her. She used to say food was love made edible. Wise woman. She was, he said, placing a carefully arranged plate in front of her. Eggs Benedict with homemade hollandaise, crispy bacon and toast, fresh orange juice. Catherine took a bite and her eyes widened. This is incredible. It's a start. Nathan allowed himself a small, proud smile. Is Emma awake yet? Not yet. Mrs. Martha is keeping an eye on her. They ate in comfortable silence. Catherine noticed Nathan had found an apron and was already familiar with the kitchen. It was nice to see movement there. Mrs. Martha cooked well, but it was basic. Nathan had passion for what he did. I need to go to the office today, Catherine mentioned. I'll be back for lunch. Do you need anything? Groceries for the kitchen? It'd be good to take inventory of what's here and make a list, Nathan. Agreed. I also need to pick up our things, Catherine frowned. Your things weren't... Some were left in the backyard, Nathan averted his gaze. Clothes, Emma's toys, if they're still there. I'll ask George to go with you, Catherine decided. He has the pickup truck. You can bring everything back. You don't have to... Nathan, she gently interrupted. You work for me now. Let me help where I can, okay? He nodded reluctantly. Catherine finished breakfast and went to get ready. When she passed through the kitchen again, dressed for work, she found Nathan preparing a fruit smoothie. For Emma? He explained. Helps with recovery. You really are a great dad, Catherine remarked, grabbing her purse. I do what I can. Oh, before I forget, she turned at the door. I scheduled for us to visit the school tomorrow, Westfield Academy. It's where Lily Grace went. It's an excellent school. Nathan swallowed hard. Private school. His daughter in a private school. It still felt like a dream. Thank you, Catherine, for everything. Don't thank me, she smiled. Just do your job well. Oh, and Nathan, feel free to use the kitchen however you like. Experiment with recipes, whatever you need. After she left, Nathan stood in the middle of the kitchen for a few minutes, taking it all in. In 48 hours, his life had turned upside down. From homeless to private chef in a mansion. Dad? He turned and saw Emma at the door, still in her pajamas, her hair messy from sleep. Good morning, Princess. How are you feeling? Better. She climbed onto the high stool. Where's Aunt Catherine? She went to work, but she'll be back for lunch. Smells so good. Emma perked up as he set the smoothie in front of her. Did you make this? I did. With lots of love so my girl gets strong again. Emma drank eagerly, leaving a pink mustache on her face. Nathan wiped it off with a napkin, laughing. Dad, are we going to live here now? The question he dreaded. For a while, sweetheart. Daddy's going to work for Aunt Catherine cooking, but it's temporary, okay? We can't get too used to it. Why? Emma tilted her head. It's so pretty here, and Aunt Catherine is nice. Because it's not our home, Emma. We're here as a favor working, understand? The girl nodded, but Nathan could tell she didn't fully grasp it. How do you explain social class and not belonging to a 6-year-old? Want to have a proper breakfast? He changed the subject. Then you can help me organize the kitchen. The rest of the morning passed quietly. George, the gardener, was a friendly man in his 50s who didn't ask questions about the situation. They went to Mrs. Barbara's house and, to Nathan's relief, found several bags in the backyard with their things. Drenched from the rain but salvageable, Raymond appeared at the door as they were loading the pickup truck. Well, well, he mocked, his prominent belly swaying. Mommy's little boy found another place to mooch off of. Nathan clenched his fists, but George placed a hand on his shoulder. Let's go, boss, he said calmly. It's not worth it. Yeah, run away, Raymond kept taunting. Always been a coward. Can't even hold on to a woman. Nathan took a step toward him, but the image of Emma stopped him. He couldn't afford to cause trouble. Not now. You're right, he finally said. I'm worthless. That's why I'll get out of your way. Enjoy the house. Raymond looked disappointed he didn't get a bigger reaction. Nathan climbed into the pickup and they drove off. During the ride, George remarked, You did the right thing not reacting. A man like that isn't worth it. It's not easy, Nathan admitted. It never is, but Mrs. Catherine saw something in you, and she's rarely wrong about people. Have you worked for her long? 15 years, George said, making a turn. I saw Lily Grace being born grow up. He paused. It was hard for everyone when she left. Mrs. Catherine changed, closed herself off. It's good to see life in the house again. Nathan didn't respond, but George's words echoed in his mind. Everyone seemed to hope he and Emma would bring something back to that house. It was a lot of pressure. When they arrived, they found Emma playing in the garden with Mrs. Martha, who was watching her closely. The girl ran between the flowers, laughing, her face glowing with health. It warmed Nathan's heart. "Daddy!" she ran to him. "Mrs. Martha showed me the fish. They're huge and colorful." "That's great, sweetheart, but don't overdo it. You're still recovering." "She's doing just fine," Mrs. Martha smiled. "Kids bounce back fast. She even ate well at snack time." Nathan thanked her and went to unpack in their room. It wasn't much. Some clothes, a few of Emma's toys, documents, photos. A whole life fit into half a dozen bags. As he put things away, he found the wedding photo. Him and Jessica smiling, baby Emma in her arms. How long had it been since he last looked at that photo? 3 years. 3 years since he woke up to find only a note. "Nathan, I can't do this anymore. I feel like I'm suffocating. I need to find my own path. Take good care of Emma." Jessica. Not even a decent explanation. No goodbye for their daughter. Just walked away and disappeared. Nathan tucked the photo at the back of the drawer. That life was over. It was time to build something new. Lunch was his first real test. Catherine had warned him she'd bring guests, business associates. Nathan prepared a sophisticated but unpretentious menu: herb-crusted grilled salmon, Sicilian lemon risotto, and sautéed vegetables. For dessert, petit gâteau with artisanal ice cream. When Catherine arrived with 2 executives, Nathan had everything under control. He served with professionalism, staying discreet but attentive. "My God, Catherine, where did you find this chef?" one executive remarked. "It's divine." "My secret," she smiled, giving Nathan a grateful glance. After the guests left, Catherine came into the kitchen. "Nathan, it was perfect. Robert wouldn't stop praising it. He owns a restaurant chain, you know." "Glad they enjoyed it," Nathan dried his hands. "It's good to cook with quality ingredients again." "You're wasting your talent." Catherine sat on the stool. "Ever thought of having your own restaurant?" "Every day," he admitted, "but dreams don't pay bills." "Not always," she mused. "Sometimes life surprises you." Before Nathan could reply, Catherine's phone rang. She checked the screen and sighed. "Michael again," she answered. "What now?" "No, I already said I won't." "Michael, stop pushing. Tomorrow? I can't. I have plans. None of your business." She hung up, irritated. "Sorry. My brother has been impossible lately." "Problems?" Catherine hesitated, as if deciding how much to share. "He thinks I'm throwing money away, that I need to sell this house, invest the assets better, that I'm isolating myself. Now he found out I hired you and he's having a fit." "How did he find out?" "Michael has his ways," she said bitterly. "Probably someone at the company mentioned lunch. He finds out about everything." Nathan felt a chill down his spine. The last thing he needed was to cause trouble for Catherine. "If my presence is causing—" "No," Catherine was firm. "This is my house, my life. Michael will have to get used to it." At that moment, Emma came running into the kitchen. "Aunt Catherine, you're back." "Hi, sweetheart." Catherine opened her arms, and Emma didn't hesitate to hug her. "How was your day?" "Great. I helped Daddy tidy up the kitchen, and Mrs. Martha taught me the names of the fish." "That's wonderful. Tomorrow we'll visit your new school. How about that?" Emma's eyes widened. "New school?" "A beautiful school, with lots of kids and nice teachers," Catherine explained. "You'll love it." Nathan watched the interaction with mixed feelings. Emma was already getting attached. And him? Well, he tried not to think about how his heart raced when Catherine smiled. The rest of the day passed quietly. Nathan prepared a simpler dinner, just for the 3 of them. They ate while talking about the next day, the school and plans. It felt like a family, a thought that both warmed and frightened Nathan. After putting Emma to bed, he went downstairs and found Catherine on the terrace, gazing at the illuminated garden. "Beautiful night," he remarked, stepping closer. "It is." She didn't turn around. "Nathan, can I ask you a personal question?" Of course. Do you still love your ex-wife? The question caught him off guard. He thought. No. I think I stopped loving her the moment she chose to leave. Not her, but the idea of her. The family I thought we were, that's what hurt to lose. I understand. Catherine finally faced him. It's hard when the person we love becomes unrecognizable. Or worse, when we realize we never truly knew them. Were you married? I was. To Lily Grace's father, Andrew. Successful businessman, charming, everything a girl dreams of, she laughed humorlessly. I found out he had another family in New York City. A wife, 2 kids. I was the other woman, and didn't even know. Catherine. When Lily Grace was diagnosed, he disappeared. Said he couldn't get involved, that he had his real family to care for. He didn't even show up at the... She swallowed hard. Not even at the funeral. Nathan felt anger for her. What kind of man abandons his sick daughter? You and Emma are lucky, Catherine continued. You have each other. That's rare. It's all I have, Nathan agreed. All I need. They stood in silence, side by side, watching the stars appear. There was something comforting in that moment, 2 wounded hearts finding solace in each other's presence. Thank you, Catherine said suddenly. For what? For bringing life back into this house, for reminding me there's still kindness in the world. Nathan didn't know how to respond. How could he say he was the one who should be thanking her? That she had not only saved their lives, but restored his faith in humanity. Catherine, shh, she placed a finger on his lips. You don't have to say anything. Let's just enjoy the moment. And there they stayed in comfortable silence, unaware that across the street a black car with tinted windows was watching the house. Michael Bennett gripped the steering wheel tightly, his eyes fixed on his sister's silhouette beside that stranger. You won't ruin everything again, Catherine, he muttered to himself. Not after all I've built. He grabbed his phone and dialed. Dr. Stevens, it's Michael. I need you to speed up that process we discussed. Yes, the conservatorship. I have new evidence that my sister isn't mentally sound. Meanwhile, unaware of the danger approaching, Nathan and Catherine remained on the terrace, finding peace in each other's presence as the night enveloped them in its protective cloak. The next morning dawned bright and sunny, perfect for the school visit. Emma woke up anxious, changing her outfit 3 times until Nathan intervened. Sweetheart, it's just a visit. Relax. But what if the kids don't like me? She asked, worried. It's impossible not to like you. Nathan kissed her forehead. You're amazing. Catherine appeared at the door, elegant in a subtle blue dress. Ready? The driver is waiting. Driver? Nathan frowned. We could take my... He paused, remembering he no longer had a car. It's more practical, Catherine said softly. Besides, I want to make a good impression. The principal is particular about new students. During the ride, Emma chattered nervously, asking 1,000 questions. Catherine answered patiently, easing her fears. Nathan watched through the window as the neighborhoods changed, the houses growing larger and more spaced out. Westfield Academy was impressive, modern buildings surrounded by green spaces, sports, courts, a playground that looked like an amusement park. Emma's jaw dropped. Is this it? She whispered. It looks like a castle. At reception, they were greeted by the principal, Mrs. Carmichael, a woman in her 60s, with a stern expression that softened when she saw Catherine. Catherine, darling, she greeted with 2 air kisses. It's been so long, how are you? Well, thank you, Margaret. Catherine kept her polite smile. This is Emma and her father, Nathan Collins. The principal scrutinized father and daughter with a critical eye. Nathan felt assessed and judged in seconds. Welcome, she said finally. Catherine told me about the situation. Shall we take a tour? Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing, the tour was eye-opening. Spacious, well-equipped classrooms, labs, a library that looked like a university's, an Olympic-sized pool. Emma grew more amazed with each new space. We have a bilingual program starting in kindergarten, the principal explained. Music, arts, sports. Our students are prepared for the best college entrance exams in the country. Nathan did the math in his head. Even with the salary Catherine offered, he could never afford this. She must have noticed his concern because she discreetly touched his arm. "It's part of the benefits package," she whispered. In what would be Emma's classroom, a few children were doing activities with their teacher. A curious blonde girl approached. "Hi, are you new? What's your name?" "Emma," she replied shyly. "I'm Isabella. Want to see my drawing?" Within minutes, the two were chatting excitedly. The teacher, young and friendly, came over. "She's adjusting quickly," she remarked with a smile. "That's a good sign." "Emma is special," Catherine said with evident fondness. After the tour in the principal's office, the details were settled. Emma would start the following Monday. Uniforms, school supplies, everything would be arranged. "It's a pleasure to have you back with us, Catherine," the principal said as they said goodbye, even if indirectly. In the car, Emma couldn't stop talking. "Did you see the playground, Dad, and the pool? Isabella said they have swimming lessons. Can I learn to swim?" "Take it easy, sweetheart," Nathan laughed. "One thing at a time." "She's excited," Catherine observed, smiling. "It's nice to see. It's an incredible school," Nathan admitted. "Maybe too incredible." "There's no such thing as too incredible when it comes to education," Catherine countered. "Emma deserves the best opportunities." "Why are you doing all this?" The question slipped out. "Honestly, Catherine, why?" She was silent for a moment, watching Emma, who was now gazing out the window, lost in thoughts about her new school. "Because I can," she finally replied. "Because I have resources I don't use, because you need them, because—" She paused. "Because it makes me feel useful again. It's selfish, I know." "It's not selfish," Nathan said softly. "It's human." When they arrived home, they found a man waiting at the door, tall, well-dressed, with features resembling Catherine's but sharper. "Michael." "Catherine," he greeted coldly. "We need to talk." "Michael, now is not the time." "It is," he interrupted, glancing at Nathan with disdain. "Especially considering the questionable decisions you've been making." "Go inside, Emma," Nathan instructed his daughter. "Find Mrs. Martha." The girl obeyed, sensing the tension in the air. Catherine faced her brother. "What do you want?" "To talk to my sister about her sudden interest in charity," Michael said with a humorless smile. "In private. Whatever you have to say, you can say it in front of Nathan." "Really?" Michael raised an eyebrow. "You want to discuss family matters in front of— What is he again? Your new project?" "Michael," Catherine warned. "No, no," Nathan interjected. To his right, "You two should talk. You stay." Catherine gripped his arm. "Michael, say what you came to say and leave." Her brother took a deep breath, clearly irritated. "Fine. I've received concerning reports about your behavior. Picking up strangers on the street, bringing them home." "I hired a chef," Catherine corrected. "Legally and formally." "Oh yes, of course," Michael laughed. "And by pure coincidence, this chef and his daughter are now living here." "Tell me, Catherine, doesn't that remind you of something? A pattern, perhaps?" Catherine's face paled. "Don't you dare— Remember Peter," Michael pressed ruthlessly. "The talented gardener you wanted to help, the one who disappeared with Mom's jewelry, or Chloe, the struggling student you funded, only to find out she wasn't even enrolled in college." "Enough," Catherine trembled. "That was different." "Was it?" Michael turned to Nathan. "And you, what's your story? What convenient tragedy brought you to my sister?" Nathan stepped forward, blood boiling. "Listen here." "Nathan, don't," Catherine stopped him. "Michael, leave. Now." "I'll go," he agreed. "But no, I'm watching." "And Catherine?" "The company board is concerned. Erratic decisions, unnecessary expenses. Maybe it's time to reassess your ability to manage your share of the inheritance." "Is that a threat?" "A brotherly warning." Michael adjusted his tie. "Think carefully about what you're doing. Mum and Dad didn't leave this fortune for you to waste on every sob story that comes along." He left, leaving a heavy silence behind. Catherine trembled slightly, eyes brimming with unshed tears. "Catherine." "Give me a minute," she whispered, hurrying inside. Nathan stood in the garden, processing what he'd just heard. So there were others before him. people who took advantage of Catherine's kindness. No wonder Michael was protective, even if harshly. He found Catherine in the living room, sitting on the couch, her head in her hands. "I'm sorry," she said without looking up. "Michael had no right." "He's protecting you." Nathan sat beside her. "The wrong way. But I understand." "You do?" She looked at him, surprised. "If it were Emma, I'd be protective too. He's right to be cautious." "But you're not like the others," Catherine said firmly. "I know you're not." "How can you be sure?" "Because you never asked for anything," she explained. "I offered. Because I've seen how you care for Emma. Because my heart tells me I can trust you." "Catherine, I know it sounds crazy," she continued. "We barely know each other. But there's something here. Something I can't explain. Like you're meant to be here." Nathan understood because he felt the same. From the very first moment, there had been an inexplicable connection. "If you want me to leave," he began. "No." Catherine took his hand. "Please, no. Don't let Michael ruin this. I need you here." The vulnerability in her voice broke Nathan's heart. He squeezed her hand in return. "We're not going anywhere," he promised, "unless you ask us to." "Daddy." Emma appeared at the door, worried. "Is everything okay? Is Aunt Catherine crying?" Catherine quickly wiped her eyes. "Everything's fine, sweetheart, just a hard day." Emma walked over and without hesitation hugged Catherine. "When I'm sad, Daddy says hugs fix everything," she said with childlike wisdom. Catherine returned the embrace, tears now flowing freely. "Your daughter is wise," she told Nathan. "Takes after her dad," he smiled. The rest of the day was tense. Catherine retreated to her office to work. Nathan made dinner with extra care, trying to lift her spirits. He prepared her favorite dish, according to Mrs. Martha, shrimp moqueca. Over dinner, they stuck to small talk, avoiding the elephant in the room. Emma dominated the conversation, still excited about her new school. After putting his daughter to bed, Nathan found Catherine on the terrace again. It had become her spot, he realized. "The moqueca was divine," she remarked. "Thank you." "Anytime." They watched the stars in silence. Then Catherine began to speak. "Michael is right about some things. I tend to trust people too much, see the best in them even when..." She sighed. "Peter was real. He was a gardener, had a family, a sad story. I helped him for months until I found out he was selling information about our family to the press. The jewelry was the least of it. I'm sorry." Chloe was real too. A beautiful girl who said she dreamed of being a doctor. I paid for her prep courses, college, everything. One day I found out she never went to class. She used the money for other things. Drugs, I learned later. "Catherine, there were others," she continued. "Each time I swore it would be the last, that I wouldn't fall for it again, but then," she looked at him, "then I see a father shielding his daughter in the rain, and all my cynicism melts away." "We're different," Nathan said firmly. "I won't let you down." "I believe you." Catherine touched his face gently. "I don't know why, but I do." Her touch burned his skin. For a moment, the world stood still. They were too close, the air thick with possibility. Nathan could smell her perfume, see the freckles her makeup usually hid. "Catherine," he whispered. The moment shattered when her phone rang. Catherine pulled away, answering. "Hello? Yes, what? But how? I see. I'll be there first thing tomorrow." She hung up, her face pale. "What happened?" "Michael," she said bitterly. "He called an emergency board meeting. Wants to discuss my mental stability in managing my share of the business." "Can he do that?" "He can try," Catherine rubbed her temples. "Damn it, I don't need this right now." "This is because of me," Nathan concluded. "If I leave..." "No," Catherine was firm. "I won't let Michael control my life. I fought too hard to be independent. Then let me help." "How?" Nathan thought quickly. "Tomorrow when you go to the meeting, take me. As your employee, your personal chef. Make it official, professional. Show them it's a business decision, not an emotional one." Catherine considered. "Oh, it might work. Would you mind?" "Of course not. It's the least I can do." "Thank you," she smiled tiredly. "We should get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day." They walked upstairs together, stopping at Catherine's door. "Nathan?" "Yes?" "No matter what happens tomorrow, don't regret accepting my offer. Please." I could never regret it, he assured her. Catherine went inside, and Nathan headed to his room. Emma slept peacefully, clutching the worn teddy bear that had been her companion since she was a baby. He tucked her in and lay down, but sleep wouldn't come. The next morning, Nathan woke up extra early. He made a hearty breakfast for Catherine, knowing she'd need the energy. When she came downstairs, already dressed in an impeccable suit, he noticed the tension in her shoulders. "Eat," he said, placing the plate in front of her. "You'll need it." "I'm not hungry." "Catherine," he used the same tone he reserved for Emma. "Eat." She smiled despite the tension and obeyed. Nathan poured himself some coffee and sat with her. "What time is the meeting?" 9 o'clock, at the company headquarters. She played with her fork. "Nathan, you don't have to go. I can handle Michael." "I know you can, but you don't have to do it alone." Catherine looked at him with gratitude. "How's Emma?" "Still asleep. Mrs. Martha will take care of her." "Good." Catherine finished her coffee. "Then let's go. The sooner we face this, the better." In the car, Catherine explained more about the family business, Bennett Enterprises, founded by her grandfather and expanded by her father. When her parents died in a car accident 5 years ago, she and Michael inherited equal shares. "Michael always wanted full control," she explained. "But Dad was smart. He tied everything up tightly. Neither of us can make major decisions without the other. And he wants to change that. He's been trying for years. When Lily Grace got sick, he thought I'd sell my share. When she passed, he was sure I'd give up everything. But you didn't." "No, it's my legacy too. I won't hand it over on a silver platter." The company building was imposing. 30 floors of glass and steel in the financial heart of New York City. Catherine walked in as if she owned the place, which, technically, she did. In the boardroom, the directors were already waiting. 6 men and 2 women, all with unfriendly expressions. Michael sat at the head of the table, a victorious smile on his face. "Catherine," he greeted with false warmth, "and I see you've brought company." "This is Nathan Collins, my personal chef," Catherine said, unshaken. "Since the agenda seems to question my personal decisions, I thought it prudent to have an example present to show their professional ones." They sat, and Michael began his presentation. He had prepared well, charts showing Catherine's expenses, photos of her picking up strangers off the street, testimonies from former employees about her excessive generosity. "As you can see," he concluded venomously, "my sister has a history of questionable decisions. Now, once again, she brings strangers into her home, spends fortunes on them. It's time to question whether she's fit to manage half of this company." "May I speak?" Catherine stood. "By all means," Michael gestured magnanimously. Catherine walked to the projector and connected her laptop. "Interesting presentation, Michael. Now let me show you some facts." She began flipping through slides. "Over the past 5 years, my investment decisions have yielded 47% more than yours. My social projects, which you call unnecessary expenses, generated tax exemptions that saved the company millions." She continued relentlessly, displaying numbers, results, achievements. Nathan watched, impressed. This was a different Catherine, the capable businesswoman, tough when necessary. "As for Mr. Collins," she gestured to Nathan, "he's a professional hire, a personal chef with experience, contracted to manage my household. Here's the contract, employment records, all legally compliant." "And his daughter living in your home," Michael attacked. "A standard benefit for employees requiring full dedication. Several executives at the company have similar arrangements. Or will you question all of them too?" The board shifted uncomfortably. Clearly, they hadn't expected Catherine to be so prepared. "Furthermore," Catherine delivered the final blow, "questioning my mental health without medical proof is slander. I have a recent psychological evaluation here attesting to my full capacity. Michael, on the other hand, what are you implying?" He stood abruptly. "Nothing. Just noting that your casino expenses in Las Vegas last year exceeded $500,000. But I imagine that doesn't affect your management skills, right?" The silence was deafening. Michael was red with anger. "How dare you dig into my personal finances?" "The same way you dug into mine," Catherine smiled sweetly. "The difference is I didn't call a meeting to expose your hobbies." "Dr. Anderson, The eldest advisor cleared his throat. I think we've heard enough. Catherine is clearly in control of her faculties and decisions. Michael, your concern is touching but unnecessary. Can we adjourn? One by one, the advisors agreed. Michael was defeated, at least for now. He stormed out, slamming the door. Catherine turned to Nathan. Let's go. I need to get out of here. In the elevator, she finally relaxed. You were amazing, Nathan said admiringly. Years of practice, she replied with a tired smile. Michael never accepts that I'm as capable as he is. More capable, Nathan corrected. Definitely more capable. Catherine blushed slightly at the praise. When they reached the garage, she stopped suddenly. Nathan, thank you for coming. Your presence helped. Anytime you need. They locked eyes, that tension in the air again. The moment was broken by a security guard running toward them. Mrs. Catherine, your brother, he's in your car. They rushed over to find Michael leaning against the hood, seemingly calm. We need to talk, he said. Alone. We have nothing. It's about Lily Grace, Michael cut her off. Catherine paled. Nathan sensed the low blow. I'll wait over there, he said quietly. He stepped far enough to give privacy, but close enough to intervene if needed. He watched the siblings talk, Catherine growing increasingly agitated. At one point she shouted, "Liar!" and Michael showed her some papers. Catherine staggered as if struck. Nathan didn't think. He just ran to her. Catherine, I'm fine, she said, but clearly wasn't. Michael was already leaving. Think about what I showed you, he said, tucking the papers away, and think hard about whether you want to keep deluding yourself. He left Catherine trembling. Nathan helped her to the car. What happened? Nothing, she lied poorly. Just Michael. Being Michael. Catherine, please, she begged. Just take me home. The drive was silent. Catherine stared out the window, lost in dark thoughts. When they arrived, she went straight to her room, murmuring about a headache. Nathan found Emma in the garden with Mrs. Martha, thankfully unaware of the drama. Daddy, she ran to him. Mrs. Martha taught me how to plant flowers. That's great, sweetie, he forced a smile. Where's Aunt Catherine? Resting. She had a tough day. Can I draw her a picture? Emma offered. It always makes me happy when you draw for me. Great idea. While Emma drew, Nathan made lunch. Comfort. Food? Vegetable soup with cheese and homemade bread. He knocked on Catherine's door but got no answer. He left the tray on the hallway table. By afternoon, with Catherine still locked away, Nathan grew truly worried. What had Michael shown? Her. What about Lily Grace could shake her so badly? Mr. Nathan, Mrs. Martha approached. Can I speak with you? Of course. It's about the boss. When she gets like this, it's complicated. Last time, she stayed in her room for days. Last time, on Lily Grace's death anniversary. It was terrible, Nathan thought. He couldn't let Catherine drown in grief. Mrs. Martha, can you stay with Emma? I need to try something. He went upstairs determined and knocked harder. Catherine, I'm coming in. Nathan, don't... But he was already opening the door. Catherine sat on the bed, still in her work clothes, holding a photo. She had been crying. Her swollen eyes gave her away. What do you want? She asked weakly. For you to eat something. He picked up the tray. And to talk to me. I'm not hungry. I didn't ask if you were. He sat beside her. What did Michael show you? Catherine hesitated, then extended the photo. It showed Lily Grace in a hospital bed, smiling despite the tubes and wires. He said, her voice faltered, said he found medical records, that there was an experimental treatment in Germany, that I didn't want to try because I was tired of taking care of her. Catherine, that's ridiculous. Is it? Tears fell. I was so exhausted, Nathan. 3 years of hospitals, treatments, shattered hopes. When the doctor said there was nothing left to do, part of me felt relief. What kind of monster feels relief? Nathan held her as she sobbed. You're not a monster, you're human. Caring for someone who's sick is physically and emotionally draining. But what if there was a chance? What if I let my daughter die because I was too tired to try? Catherine, look at me. Nathan cupped her face. You did everything you could. Michael is manipulating your guilt. You don't understand. I do. When Emma had pneumonia at 2, I almost lost her. I spent days in the hospital, sleepless, begging for a miracle. If someone came now saying there was another treatment I didn't try, I'd blame myself too. But it would be a lie, Catherine. We do the best we can with what we know at the time. Catherine stared at him, vulnerable and lost. It hurts so much, she whispered. Every day hurts. I know. Nathan held her tighter. I know. They stayed like that for long minutes, Catherine crying out years of guilt and pain, Nathan offering silent comfort. When the sobs subsided, he offered the soup. Eat a little, please. Catherine obeyed mechanically. After a few spoonfuls, she seemed slightly better. Emma drew a picture for you, Nathan mentioned. She wants to cheer you up. She's an angel. Catherine gave a weak smile. How do you do it, Nathan? How do you raise such a pure child alone? I don't know if I'm doing it right. I just try to give love, set boundaries, be present. The rest I hope works out. You're doing great. A knock interrupted them. Emma entered shyly, holding the drawing. Aunt Catherine, I made this for you. It was a colorful sketch of 3 figures holding hands under a rainbow. Catherine, Nathan, and Emma with hearts around them. It's beautiful, sweetheart. Catherine hugged Emma. Thank you. Were you sad? Emma asked bluntly. When I'm sad, Daddy makes hot chocolate. Want him to make some for you? I'd love that. Catherine kissed her forehead. Emma ran off to ask for the chocolate. Catherine looked at the drawing again. She drew us as a family, she observed softly. Emma, she gets attached easily, Nathan tried to explain. Not just her. Catherine gave him a meaningful look. Before Nathan could reply, Emma came running back. Daddy, there's a strange man at the gate. Mrs. Martha won't let him in. Nathan and Catherine exchanged alarmed glances and hurried downstairs. On the intercom screen, they saw who it was. Raymond. Damn it, Nathan muttered. Who is he? Catherine asked. My mother's boyfriend. The one who kicked. Gas out. Raymond kept ringing the bell insistently, visibly agitated. Let him in, Nathan decided. Better to deal with this now. Are you sure? I am. Emma, go play upstairs. But Dad. Now, Emma. The girl obeyed reluctantly. Catherine opened the gate and Raymond stormed in like a hurricane, Mrs. Barbara close behind. So this is where you've been hiding, Raymond pointed at Nathan, living in luxury while your mother suffers. Raymond, please. Mrs. Barbara tried to calm him. No, Barbara, your son owes us an explanation. He turned to Catherine. And you must be the rich fool who fell for his lies. Watch your mouth. Nathan stepped between Raymond and Catherine. Or what? You'll hit me? In front of your mother? Nathan works for me, Catherine interjected calmly. He's my chef. Everything's legal and documented. Chef, Raymond scoffed. This incompetent fool can't even fry an egg. He's probably taking advantage of you. Enough, Mrs. Barbara finally spoke. Nathan, son, we need to talk. We have nothing to talk about, Nathan replied. Coldly, you made your choice. Don't speak to your mother like that. Raymond stepped forward, but George, who had moved closer, held him back. I think you'd better calm down, the gardener said firmly. Son, please. Mrs. Barbara had tears in her eyes. I just want to know if you're okay, if Emma's okay. Now you want to know, Nathan exploded. Where was this concern when you threw us out, left us in the rain? I didn't mean to. She glanced at Raymond. Things got out of hand. Don't blame me, Raymond protested. You agreed they had to go. Because you wouldn't stop complaining. Mrs. Barbara turned on him. Every day was a fight, an argument. You promised you'd change after they left. And I did. The house is peaceful now. What peace? Mrs. Barbara openly wept now. I can't sleep thinking about my granddaughter in the rain. My son with nowhere to live. Catherine watched silently, finally understanding the dynamic. A weak mother, a manipulative man, a protective son. How many families had been destroyed by this kind of situation? Mrs. Barbara, Catherine stepped forward. Your son and granddaughter are fine. They have a roof, food safety. You don't need to worry. Who are you to interfere? Raymond glared at her aggressively. I own this house. Catherine didn't flinch. And I suggest you watch your tone. Oh, now I get it, Raymond smirked, maliciously. That's it, isn't it, Nathan? Found yourself a lonely rich widow, clever move. Nathan lunged at him, but Catherine was faster, grabbing his arm. It's not worth it, she whispered. Think of Emma. Yeah. Think about your daughter, Raymond taunted. What kind of example are you setting? Selling yourself to a rich lady? Enough! Emma's voice echoed from the top of the stairs. Stop talking bad about my dad. Everyone turned. The girl ran down, her face red with anger. Emma, I told you to... Nathan began. No, Dad! She cut him off, stopping in front of Raymond. You're mean. You're the one who made Grandma kick. Fuss out. You yelled at me all the time. Emma, Mrs. Barbara tried to approach, and you let him. Emma turned to her grandmother, tears streaming. You chose him over us. Dad cried, you know. He never cries, but he did. The silence was devastating. Nathan picked Emma up, trying to soothe her. Shh, sweetheart. It's okay now. It's not, Emma sobbed. They're mean and I don't want to see them again. Mrs. Barbara staggered, as if she'd been slapped. Her granddaughter's words, the raw truth from a child's mouth, hurt more than any accusation. I'm so sorry, she murmured. My God, what have I done? What you've done. Raymond turned on her furiously. You chose to be happy. Chose a man who loves you. You don't love me. Mrs. Barbara faced him with sudden clarity. You love my house, my retirement, the comfort I give you, but love? You don't even know what that is. Margaret, get out, she said firmly. Get out of my life now. You'll regret this, Raymond threatened. You'll die alone, old and abandoned. Better alone than in bad company. Mrs. Barbara lifted her chin. Leave before I call the police. Raymond still tried to argue, but George and Catherine's driver stepped forward, making it clear it was time to go. He stormed out, cursing and making empty threats. Mrs. Barbara turned to Nathan, her face aged with regret. Son, Not now, Mom, Nathan said wearily. Emma needs to calm down. You know where to find me if you want to talk, but for now, please go. Mrs. Barbara nodded, defeated. Before leaving, she looked at Catherine. Thank you for taking care of them. I failed as a mother and grandmother, but I'm glad they found someone better. She left, leaving behind a heavy silence. Emma was still crying in her father's arms, and Catherine felt her heart break for the pain of that shattered family. Let's go inside, she suggested softly. I think everyone could use some hot chocolate right now. In the kitchen, while Nathan soothed Emma, Catherine prepared the chocolate. It felt strange being on the other side, being the one who cared. For others instead of being cared for. But it was nice too. Healing. Aunt Catherine makes good hot chocolate too, Emma remarked after her first sip, already calmer. Learned from the best. Catherine winked at Nathan. I'm so sorry about what happened, Nathan said. Bringing our problems into your home? Our home, Catherine corrected automatically, then blushed. I mean, you live here too. Emma yawned, the emotional exhaustion taking its toll. I think someone needs a nap, Nathan observed. I'm not a baby, Emma protested but yawned again. Come on, Catherine reached out. I'll take you. Your dad needs some rest too. To Nathan's surprise, Emma took Catherine's hand without hesitation. He watched them go upstairs, his daughter chattering despite her tiredness, Catherine listening with endless patience. How had they ended up here? In just a week, his life had completely changed. From homeless to living in a mansion. From unemployed to a private chef. From alone with Emma to what exactly? His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Your time with the rich girl is running out. She'll get tired of you like she did with the others. Michael. It had to be. Nathan deleted the message. He wouldn't let anyone ruin the chance they had here. Catherine came back down 20 minutes later. She fell asleep in the middle of a mermaid story, she said with a smile. She's an amazing girl. Nathan. Takes after her mom in that, he said without thinking, then corrected himself. The strength, I mean, not the leaving. I understand. Catherine poured herself more chocolate. It must have been hard, raising a child alone. It was. But Emma's worth every sacrifice. You love her unconditionally, Catherine observed. It's beautiful to see. It's what parents do. Not all of them, she said softly. Andrew never... When Lily Grace got sick, he just disappeared. Like she stopped existing to him. I can't understand that, Nathan admitted. How could anyone abandon their own child? I didn't get it either. I spent years hating him. Then I realized the hate only hurt me. Lily Grace didn't need a mother consumed by anger. You loved her unconditionally too. Love, Catherine corrected. Present tense, I'll always love her. They sat in comfortable silence. The sun began to set, painting the kitchen gold. Catherine, Nathan started, about earlier with Michael. I'd rather not talk about it now, she deflected. It's been too much of a day. Okay, but if you need to talk. I know. Catherine briefly touched his hand. Thank you. The touch, however brief, sent electricity through Nathan's arm. There was something there, something they both felt but were afraid to name. I'll make dinner, he stood abruptly. Let's just order in tonight, Catherine suggested. You've had a hard day too. Cooking calms me. Then let me help, she insisted. Can you teach me something? Nathan hesitated. The kitchen was his sanctuary, his space. But Catherine's hopeful look convinced him. Do you know how to make risotto? No, but I'd love to learn. The next 2 hours were surprisingly fun. Catherine was a terrible cook but eager. She laughed when she messed up the rice, beamed when she got the shrimp timing right. Nathan guided her patiently, gently correcting, praising her progress. You're a good teacher, Catherine remarked as she stirred the risotto. You're a good student, he replied, adjusting her posture. Constant motion like this. They were too close. He could feel the warmth of her body, her soft perfume. Catherine turned her head and suddenly they were just inches apart. Nathan, she whispered. Aunt Catherine, something smells good. Emma appeared, rubbing her eyes and breaking the moment. Nathan quickly stepped back. Did you sleep well? Catherine asked, her face flushed. Yes. I had a cool dream. You two were cooking together. Nathan and Catherine exchanged glances. Sometimes children had an unsettling perception. Dinner was lively, with Emma dominating the conversation as usual. She seemed to have moved past the afternoon's trauma, childhood resilience in action. Aunt Catherine, can I show my new room to Isabella tomorrow? She suddenly asked. Isabella. The girl from school, she said she could be my friend. Ah, Catherine looked at Nathan. I think we need to check with her father first. Of course, Nathan agreed, though the idea of Emma bringing friends home still felt surreal. After dinner, they settled into a routine that felt natural. Catherine helped bathe Emma while Nathan tidied the kitchen. Then, the three of them curled up in the living room for a movie. Predictably, Emma fell asleep halfway through, her head on Catherine's lap and her feet on Nathan's. It felt so familiar, so right. She trusts you, Nathan observed quietly. The feeling's mutual, Catherine murmured, stroking Emma's hair. She reminds me why life is worth living. Catherine, shh, she gestured to Emma. Let's take her to bed. Nathan carefully picked up his daughter, and they went upstairs together. They tucked Emma in, covering her gently. For a moment, they stood there, watching her sleep. She looks like an angel, Catherine whispered. She's my angel, Nathan agreed. They left the room quietly. In the hallway, they paused awkwardly. Good night, they said at the same time, laughing nervously. Nathan, Catherine began, today was intense. It was. But it was good too, having you both here. I didn't feel alone. We should be thanking you. No, she interrupted. Don't thank me, just stay, please. The vulnerability in her voice shattered him. Nathan nodded. We're not going anywhere. Catherine smiled and slipped into her room. Nathan lingered in the hallway a moment longer, his heart racing. What was happening between them? And more importantly, what should he do about it? Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us as we're just starting out. Now back to the story. The next few days passed in relative peace. Emma started school and adjusted wonderfully. Nathan settled into a routine in the kitchen, impressing Catherine with increasingly elaborate dishes. Evenings were spent together, comforting domesticity they all cherished. But the peace was an illusion. One Thursday, Catherine came home from work visibly upset. "What's wrong?" Nathan asked, concerned. "Michael," she tossed her purse onto the sofa. "He's filing a lawsuit. A legal injunction. Claims I'm mentally unfit to manage my share of the company." "He can't do that." "He can try, and he is." Catherine poured herself a glass of wine. "He's hired psychiatrists, lawyers. He's determined." "Why does he hate you so much?" Catherine sighed deeply. "Michael doesn't hate me. He hates not having total control. It's always been this way, even when we were kids. When Dad died and split everything equally, he was furious. He expected to inherit everything just for being the man. Idiot. And when Lily Grace was born, it got worse. A female heir? Unthinkable for him. He even suggested Andrew should take my place. Can you believe it?" Nathan felt anger flare. How could someone be so cruel to their own sister? "What can we do?" "Fight." Catherine straightened her shoulders. "I won't hand over what my parents built without a fight." "Count on me," Nathan said firmly, "for whatever you need." Catherine looked at him with gratitude, and something more. Something that made Nathan's heart race. "Nathan, she started, but Emma came running in. "Dad, Aunt Catherine, can Isabella come over tomorrow?" Her mother left. The moment passed, but the tension remained. The next day, Friday, Isabella came over to play after school. The two girls ran through the garden, their laughter filling the house with life. Catherine watched them from the window with a melancholic smile. "What did Lily Grace love the most?" Nathan asked softly, stepping closer. "Dancing," Catherine replied without hesitation. "Even when she was sick, even when she was weak, she danced. She said it was her way of flying. Emma loves dancing too." "I noticed," Catherine smiled. "Yesterday I caught her dancing in her room. She has talent." "She takes after her mother in that too," Nathan said without bitterness. "Jessica was a dancer, frustrated but talented. You loved her very much." It wasn't a question, but Nathan answered anyway. "I loved who I thought she was, but people change. Or maybe they just reveal who they always were." "How do you know?" Catherine turned to face him. "When is it change and when is it just the truth coming out?" "I don't know," he admitted. "Maybe it doesn't matter. The result is the same." They watched the girls in silence. Then Catherine's phone rang. She looked at the screen and paled. "It's my lawyer," she answered. "Yes, what, but how?" "I see, I'll be there." She hung up, trembling. "What happened?" "Michael got an emergency hearing for Monday. If the judge sides with him." She couldn't finish. "He won't," Nathan held her hands. "You're perfectly capable, anyone can see that. Michael has photos, videos of me hugging you, of us on the terrace. He'll claim I'm having an inappropriate affair with an employee, that I'm emotionally unstable." Nathan felt his blood run cold. He was hurting Catherine just by being in her life. "I'll leave," he said immediately. "Today. I'll take the problem away." "No!" She gripped his hands. "Don't do that, please. Catherine, I won't let you lose everything because of me." "It's not because of you," she insisted. "Michael would always find an excuse. If it wasn't you, it would be something else." "But, Nathan," she interrupted. "These past weeks with you here, I've felt alive again. I've felt hope. I won't let Michael take that from me." "Not again." "Again?" Catherine let go of his hand, stepping back. "Michael has already taken so much from me. Opportunities, relationships, always under the guise of protecting me. But no more. This time, I'll fight." "Then we fight together," Nathan declared. "It's not your battle." "Yes, it is," he said firmly. "You took us in, gave us a chance. Now it's our turn to give back." Catherine looked at him with tear-filled eyes. "You don't exist, you know? Men like you don't exist anymore." "I do exist." Nathan stepped closer. "I'm right here." The air between them crackled. Catherine raised her hand, gently touching his face. "Nathan! Dad, Aunt Catherine, Isabella fell!" They rushed to the garden where Isabella was crying with a scraped knee. A small emergency that broke the moment but showed something important. They were working as a team, as a family. After, Isabella's mother picked her up, with endless thanks and promises of another visit. Nathan found Catherine in the office, surrounded by documents. "Preparing your defense?" he asked. "Trying," she rubbed her eyes. "There are so many years of manipulation to untangle. Let me see." Nathan sat beside her. They spent hours reviewing papers, building arguments. Nathan discovered he had an unexpected talent for organization. Catherine realized having someone by her side made the burden lighter. "Look at this," Nathan pointed to a document. "Michael signed the authorization for your psychological treatment after Lily Grace's death. How can he claim you're unstable now if he approved the treatment himself?" "How genius!" Catherine impulsively hugged him. "Nathan, you're a genius." The hug lasted longer than it should have. When they pulled apart, both were flushed and breathless. I'm sorry," Catherine began. "No," Nathan cupped her face. "Don't apologize for that. Nathan, we can't." "Why not?" "Because you work for me, because I'm vulnerable, because I'm afraid," she admitted in a whisper. "Afraid of what?" "Of falling in love again. Of losing again. Of not being enough." "Catherine," Nathan moved closer, their faces almost touching. "You are more than enough. You're extraordinary. You don't even really know me. I know what matters. I know you're strong and fragile at the same time, that you love with your whole heart, that you saved me and Emma when you had no obligation to, that you play the piano when you're sad, that you can't cook but try anyway. That," Catherine silenced him with a kiss, soft at first, hesitant, then deeper when Nathan responded, years of loneliness and pain melting away in the warmth of that moment. When they pulled apart, both were trembling. "This complicates everything," Catherine whispered. "Or simplifies it," Nathan countered. "Catherine, Shh," she placed a finger on his lips. "Not now. After the hearing. When Michael can't use this against us." Nathan nodded reluctantly. She was right, but every fiber of his being wanted to shout to the world what he felt. "I'll make dinner," he said, standing up. "Nathan," Catherine called. "No. Regrets?" "None," he assured her. The weekend passed in tension, preparations for the hearing, meetings with lawyers, strategies. But there were also sweet moments. Catherine teaching Emma to play piano, Nathan making heart-shaped pancakes on Sunday, the three of them watching a movie cuddled together. Sunday night, on the eve of the hearing, Nathan found Catherine on the terrace, their spot. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified," she admitted. "What if Michael wins? What if I lose everything?" "You won't," Nathan hugged her. "You're too strong for that." "I don't feel strong. I feel tired. Of fighting, of proving my worth, of justifying my choices." "Then let me be strong for you." Nathan kissed the top of her head. "Just for today." Catherine nestled into his arms. "Nathan, no matter what happens tomorrow, thank you. For everything." "Catherine, no, I need to say it. You both gave me back the will to live. Emma showed me there's still innocence and joy in the world. And you showed me I can still feel, that my heart didn't die with Lily Grace." Nathan held her tighter, too moved to speak. "Promise me something?" Catherine asked. "Anything. If tomorrow goes wrong, if I lose, don't disappear. Please." "Never," Nathan promised. "Wherever you go, we go." They stayed on the terrace late into the night, under the stars, gathering strength for the battle ahead. Monday dawned cloudy, as if the weather mirrored everyone's mood. Emma went to school blissfully unaware of the drama. Nathan and Catherine arrived at the courthouse together, both impeccably dressed. The courtroom was intimidating. Michael was already there with a team of lawyers. He smiled when he saw them enter. Little sister and her escort, of course. "Michael," Catherine held her head high. The judge entered and began the session. Michael's lawyers struck first, presenting Evidence of Catherine's instability, excessive spending on charity, a history of being deceived, unresolved grief for her daughter, and now an inappropriate involvement with an employee. How can we entrust Bennett Enterprises to someone so emotionally vulnerable? The lead attorney concluded. Then it was the defense's turn. Catherine's lawyer dismantled every argument. He showed the profits under her management, her successful psychological treatment, testimonials from business partners, and the masterstroke, Michael's authorization for the treatment. If my client was unstable, why did Mr. Michael authorize and pay for treatment instead of seeking guardianship at the time? He challenged. Michael turned red. He hadn't expected that. The judge asked to speak to Catherine directly. Mrs. Bennett, can you explain your relationship with Mr. Collins? Catherine stood up confidently. Nathan Collins is my personal chef, hired within the law. Yes, he and his daughter live on my property, a standard benefit for full-time employees. Is there affection between us? Yes, there is. Normal human affection between people who spend time together. Anything else? That's a personal matter that doesn't interfere with my professional ability. And what about the allegations of excessive spending on charity? Your Honor, I use my personal money, not the company's, to help people. If that's a crime, then arrest every philanthropist in the country. In fact, my social initiatives have generated considerable tax benefits for the company, as shown in the records. The judge flipped through the documents, thoughtful. Then Michael lost control. She's lying, he exploded. She's involved with this man. She'll end up pregnant and give our inheritance to bastards. The silence was shocking. Catherine paled. Nathan clenched his fists. Mr. Bennett, the judge warned, control yourself or you'll be removed. It's the truth, Michael insisted. She's always been weak. She let her daughter die because she was too weak to fight. Catherine staggered. It was too much. Nathan didn't think, he just acted. He stood and went to her, steadying. Breathe, he whispered. I'm here. Mr. Collins, and the judge called. Would you like to speak? Nathan faced the judge. Your Honor, I've worked for Catherine Bennett for a short time, but in that period, I've seen a strong, capable, fair woman. A woman who lost a daughter and survived, who helps others, because she knows pain, who runs businesses masterfully. If that's instability, then the world needs more unstable people like her. And the allegations of personal involvement? Nathan took a deep breath. I respect and admire my employer. If there's something more? Maybe, but does that disqualify her? Is affection a mental illness now? In that case, lock up everyone. In love. Restrained laughter filled the room. Even the judge cracked a smile. I've heard enough, the judge declared. Based on the facts presented, I see no evidence of mental incapacity in Mrs. Catherine Bennett. On the contrary, I see a competent businesswoman handling grief in a healthy way. Petition for guardianship denied. Case dismissed. Catherine collapsed in relief. Nathan held her as Michael stormed out with his lawyers. Outside, Catherine hugged Nathan tightly. You were amazing, she said, emotional. Thank you. We were amazing, he corrected. Team, remember? This isn't over. Catherine watched Michael getting into his car in the distance. He won't give up. Then we keep fighting. Nathan cupped her face. Together. Catherine kissed him right there, in front of the courthouse, not caring who saw. Together, she agreed when they parted. They returned home lighter. Emma greeted them with hugs and an excited story about her day at school. Dinner was a quiet but heartfelt celebration. Later, with Emma asleep, Nathan and Catherine met on the terrace. What now? She asked. Now? Nathan pulled her into his arms. Now we live, one day at a time. It's risky, Catherine warned. Michael will use our relationship against us. Let him try. Nathan kissed her forehead. It's worth the risk. Is it? She searched his eyes. Every second, he promised. They kissed under the stars, two wounded hearts finding healing in each other. The following weeks were the happiest either could remember. Nathan and Catherine quietly made their relationship official. Emma blossomed under their care. The house came alive again with laughter and love. But Michael hadn't given up. One Saturday morning, 2 months after the hearing, Catherine received a call that left her pale. "What's wrong?" Nathan asked, worried. "It was the hospital. She could barely speak. Michael had an accident. He's in critical condition. Despite everything, he was her brother." Catherine went to the hospital, Nathan insisting on accompanying her. Michael was conscious but in bad shape, broken in several places, tubes everywhere. "Catherine," Nathan called out when he saw her. "I'm here." She took his hand, tears falling. I'm sorry," he said with difficulty, "for everything. I was wrong." "Shh, don't speak. Save your strength." "No," Michael insisted. "You need to know, Lily Grace. The treatment in Germany, it was a lie. I forged the documents. I wanted to hurt you." Catherine sobbed. Nathan held her as she cried years of unnecessary guilt. "Why?" she managed to ask. "Jealousy," Michael admitted. "You always had everything. Our parents' love ease with people, and even after losing Lily Grace, you found strength, you found him." He looked at Nathan. "All I have is money, and I couldn't even take that from you." "Michael, take care of her," he told Nathan. "She deserves to be happy." The machines began beeping. Doctors rushed in. Within minutes, Michael Bennett was gone, taking years of anger with him and leaving only regret. Catherine cried on Nathan's chest for a long time. She cried for the brother he had been, for what could have been, for the waste of a life spent in bitterness. The funeral was quiet. Catherine arranged everything with the dignity Michael had rarely shown in life. In his will, a surprise, he left everything to her with a note. "Make better use of it than I did." A month later, on a sunny afternoon, Nathan found Catherine in the garden with Emma. The two were planting flowers, laughing at something Emma had said. "Daddy!" The girl ran to him. "Aunt Catherine said I can call her Mom. Can I?" Nathan looked at Catherine, who smiled nervously. "If she said yes, of course you can," he replied, moved. "Yay, I have a mom again." Emma hugged them both. That night, after putting Emma to bed, Nathan took Catherine to the terrace. He had prepared everything: candles, flowers, champagne. "What's all this?" she asked, surprised. "Catherine Bennett." Nathan knelt. "You saved my life, gave me hope when I had none, showed Emma what a mother's love is, taught me that broken hearts can heal. Marry me?" Catherine laughed and cried at the same time. "Nathan, yes, 1,000 times yes." He slipped the ring, simple but elegant, onto her finger. They kissed passionately. "Are you sure?" Catherine asked when they pulled apart. "I'm not easy. I have baggage, trauma." "Me too," Nathan reminded her. "But together we're stronger." "What about Emma?" "I already asked her." He smiled. "She said she'd only agree if she could throw flowers." Catherine laughed. The most beautiful sound in the world. The wedding was 6 months later. Small, intimate in their garden. Emma threw so many flowers you could barely see the bride and groom. Mrs. Martha cried. George smiled proudly. Even Mrs. Barbara attended, reconciled with her son and granddaughter. At the reception, Catherine danced, with Emma in her arms, both laughing as Nathan watched them lovingly. His family, complete, perfect in its imperfection. "Daddy, come dance with us," Emma called. Nathan joined them, the three of them swaying to the music, wrapped in each other's arms. From the terrace, under the same stars that had witnessed their beginning, they now celebrated their future. Two hearts that found healing, a child who gained a whole family, a house that came alive again. Sometimes the greatest gifts come disguised as storms. Nathan and Catherine learned that the hard way, and they lived happily. Not forever, because that's a fairy tale, but happily each day, building memories, facing challenges together, loving unconditionally. Because in the end, that's what life is made of. Not perfect endings, but precious moments with those we love. And they had many moments ahead. The end. And so we come to the end of this touching journey of Nathan, Catherine, and Emma. A story about second chances, about love that heals and the family we choose to build. Dear listener, we hope it touched your heart as it did ours. Do you think Catherine and Nathan made the right choices? What would you have done in their place? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If our story touched your heart, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more heartwarming tales. Thank you so much for joining us.